The Gem State is changing every day, and as it does, the Idaho Matters podcast will help you know more about the changing communities and governments and cultures of Idaho. Listen to Idaho Matters today at boisestatepublicradio.org or in your favorite podcast app. From the studios of Boise State Public Radio News, I'm Gemma Gaudette. More Idaho Matters right now. Two Boise-based nonprofits, Create Common Good and City of Good, are joining forces. In fact, they're merging their organizations to better serve our community. Britt Udison, who is Executive Director of City of Good, is joining us today to talk more about this. Britt, really nice to have you back on the program.
Thanks, Gemma. It's always really fun to talk with you.
So first, Britt, for folks who aren't familiar with City of Good, tell us a little bit about your organization.
Absolutely. So we are working to build a sustainable food system by ensuring radical access to fresh local food for all. And we do that by paying local farmers and food producers for their product that we then make available to every Boise resident, especially those experiencing food insecurity.
So tell us what Create Common Good is for folks who may not be familiar with this organization.
Yeah. Create Common Good was founded about 15 years ago with the mission of empowering and training neighbors with barriers to accessing employment. And largely that has been within kitchens. So it's a perfect match for us where we will take their knowledge and history and curriculum with workforce development and integrate that into our food production and distribution programs.
Because Britt, if I remember correctly, City of Good really came out of the pandemic, right? I mean, this was kind of a brainchild as everything shut down, restaurants were closed, to make sure that our farmers, that our restaurant workers, all could continue to survive and thrive.
That's exactly right. Our founders had a vision at this moment when the world was shutting down, and they had a lot of expert knowledge on the fact that restaurant workers were not only about to get laid off, but farmers were going to lose the revenue as the world shut down. So they created a program that would use local product, pay our local farmers, employ those in kitchens who are facing job insecurity, and then distribute the food to those in need. We have never lost that commitment to our local producers. And in fact, what we envision as a sustainable food system isn't just about access to food. It's about ensuring that those who grow and process our food have economic viability, sustainability, and a connection to their neighbors. So we were, again, founded at different times. City of Good was founded only 4 or 5 years ago, where CCG has been around for 15 years. But we share that vision that those who work in our kitchen are an essential part of a sustainable food system, and that providing training to people with barriers to accessing employment, whether that's incarcerated people or recently incarcerated people or people that are new Americans or with refugee backgrounds, that we can help them have a more, again, economically viable and economic mobility in their lives through kitchen work. And what's cool about that, too, in terms of the food distribution programs, is now we are ensuring that whether you're an eater, a food producer, or a farmer, you're benefiting. So it's what we like to say is we're completing the circle of good, ensuring that every single person in that chain is benefiting.
Well, and I think it speaks volumes that how City of Good was created, it didn't go away after the pandemic, right? I mean, it continued to go. So it shows, I think, the need for organizations like this.
Yeah, we have a dream. But that we will always be needed in terms of connection. So we will always want to connect the producer with the consumer, but someday we hope we won't have to be there in terms of food security. But unfortunately, that is a growing problem and as of yet is still pervasive.
So I'm curious about how the idea came up to merge these two nonprofits.
Well, I think we have always admired, City of Good has always admired the work of Create Common Good. And one of the things at the core of our sort of reason for being, as well as the way we execute our programs, is about partnership. So we are I think perhaps our superpower is connection in ensuring that we're connecting the right people with the right thing at the time and the place that they need it. And so we've always admired the work of Create Common Good, and we have never wanted to step on their toes. But we've had conversations with them for a long time. And it was actually Tara Russell, Rachel, who was the founder of Create Common Good, who came to us and said, I think we could be better together. And I
Mm.
think part of her visionary leadership is that she, like our founders at City of Good, believes that nonprofits are best when we collaborate. And so we will be integrating programs together, which is exciting, and we'll be ensuring that workforce development is a part of all of our meal production. But we also will be able to share leadership expertise, accounting software, like all of those things that can be a burden to small and emerging nonprofits, we will now share.
So you mentioned workforce development a few times, and that'll be one of the benefits of the merger. Can you kind of explain a little bit more about what you mean by that?
Sure. There are many different ways we can look at it, and we look forward to expanding it and working with partners, for example, like the Idaho Office for Refugees. Right now, the largest workforce development partner that Create Common Good has is, in fact, the Idaho Department of Corrections. And so, the largest program that CCG is running and that we'll continue to support and run is an in prison training program helping residents to get serve safe certified. Sorry, say that 5 times fast inside kitchens. So while people are residents of Idaho prisons, they have the opportunity to train in the kitchen so that when they're graduating from this program, they not only have a certificate that will allow them to work in any kitchen in Idaho, they'll be a safe food handler or even a safe manager for a kitchen, but they also are learning soft skills so that they can comfortably interview. They can work through, let's say, the office kerfuffles that come up and do some
Hmm.
of those more difficult interpersonal things. So we currently do that in prisons. We do that with recently incarcerated people, and we will partner with other agencies who identify that their audience or their participants and clients need help in getting jobs. So we're there more. There are other organizations in town that do it, like Life's Kitchen, helping people learn how to get jobs and get the basic skills that they need to get work in kitchens.
And then how will this merger impact our growers and producers?
Great question. We are really excited about expanding our meal production program in house so that every ready to eat meal that we deliver, whether it's to a child living at Interfaith Sanctuary or a veteran undergoing oncology treatment, will be 100% locally sourced. Because we will be in control of all of those meals being produced within our new kitchens. One of the things we are acquiring with this merger with Create Common Good is a gorgeous commercial kitchen, so that will allow us to do larger scale production using more and more local products in addition to that which we already use in our restaurant at the Shrine Social Club and other places. We also will be able to expand our minimal processing, meaning that small and emerging farm businesses who may not have the infrastructure to buy a $30,000 chopper or employ workforce development to chop the carrots, we can help them with that so that these small and emerging farm businesses can have a wider reach and a larger economic footprint for their own businesses.
What do you think is the most exciting part of this merger, Britt?
Holy moly, that's a hard thing for me to answer. I get really overwhelmed with it's I think it's really exciting that Boise is supporting an incredibly unique approach to both sustainable food systems and food security. We are building something here with the support of our community that isn't really happening anywhere else. And so I think, the one sentence answer, the integration of workforce development into the food production, that means, again, that every single step in the process, you're a grower, you're a producer, you're an eater, every one of those links in that chain is benefiting from our work. That's pretty thrilling.
So, will there be a name change? How will this look?
Yeah, so Create Common Good will become a program of City of Good. It will be one single nonprofit with the name City of Good moving forward. We have begun the process of integrating, so our staffs are working together, our resources are being pooled. But as of January 1, 2025, there will be one nonprofit called City of Good.
Well, as always, Britt, we really appreciate you coming on, and congratulations with this merger. It's exciting to see, and you both of these organizations just do such incredible work for our community. So thank you for telling us more
Thank,
about this.
thank you so much. We're really, like, as you can probably tell, really thrilled about this and honored to be working on this as a team. So thank you for your interest and for sharing our story.
It's our pleasure. We've been talking with Britt Udison, Executive Director of City of Good. We've been discussing the merger that's taking place between City of Good and Create Common Good. As Britt said, it will be under one umbrella as City of Good as of January 1st. You've been listening to Idaho Matters from Boise State Public Radio. I'm Gemma Gaudette.
We could all use a little help navigating the news these days. The Consider This podcast wants to give you a hand. 6 days a week, we'll help you make sense of the day's biggest news story and what it means for you in less than 15 minutes. Listen now to the Consider This podcast from NPR.